What's up, Shorty?
Hello. Let's see what we got. All right, so if you guys look at SPY, right, I'm just here at 1 hour. Hopefully you guys had this charted, the fibs, and it's pretty evident where we bounced from, right? So if you guys look at the 50% today, that was a pretty good bounce here. I guess at 10:30 happened. Yep. So right at 10:30, they popped it right here, and then they reclaimed the 38.2, which signifies on this run here what? I mean, that's a pretty good trend right now so far, meaning this is fairly aggressive, right? So if we want to know, where can this go to next, you can grab from here, right, to here, and then enable your fibs if you want, enable the 1618, 1272. And from fibs perspective, these are the levels that we want on SPY. If you guys go a little bit to maybe 3 hours or something like that, you guys will notice that there's a lot of clusters of potential sell-offs here that we had. So if you guys look at this and you just grab the whole thing here to down, kind of lines up perfectly here, 39.58, 72. So this becomes a pretty crucial level, I think, in my opinion, 395. For bulls to take over 395, I would say they would have a really, really high chance to push it to the top 10 to 410 or so. But it's all dependent tomorrow on the data, right? Well, not tomorrow, I believe it's
Thursday,
right? Tomorrow's Wednesday. So was there anything tomorrow? Not really. 30-year mortgage rates, but there was some CPI information from different countries. I think Australia came in hot, or I don't know, one of the countries came in really hot.
yeah, Australia was hot, but their retail sales came in their retail sales smashed it though, so it's kind of conflicting. It's like people have too much money still.
Well, if that's true, then Feds have to continue doing the rate hikes.
Yep.
So here's our chart from today. Hopefully you guys took some good trades. So this was the did you guys mark the IBH and IBL today? I was screaming that you guys do. So we popped below the IBL here, but how many candles did we have below the IBL? A lot of you guys were like, man, 88% check. Well, there's only single candle close. We usually say you need 3 5-minute, 3 3-minutes, or something in that range to make sure it's relevant, right? So if you guys looked at this, if this was your IBH here, you see them struggling to get over it. Actually, I was shorting right here. I shorted this today. I think I had this drawn a little bit differently. It was something like this, I believe. I think I had it like this. I think it was off of here. Yeah, I had it like this. And I shorted this, and I was not able to look at my screen for maybe for this duration here. For 15 minutes, I wasn't able to look at my screen, and the contract went really, really nice. And of course, by the time I got back, it was up here, and the contract was literally lost 80% of the value. I was up almost 150% on this drop, and then I lost it all. Just because if you don't have the time to look at the screen and you can't pay attention to it, don't trade it, right? And that's where I messed up. Otherwise, I mean, seems pretty balanced there. I mean, they struggled here. I haven't really paid attention to volume today, but at the end of the day, I think they pushed up some volume here. I'm not sure if you guys had any dark pools that you noticed, but Dumpster, where did we say to go long last night when we said overnight? What was the level?
95. 92.
Was it this one?
Yeah. 92, yeah.
Yeah. So last night during the watch list, we said, hey, this is going to be a great level. If they push it back to this level, most likely it's going to be a great level to go long overnight and just forget about it because it has potential to run. Well, some of us listened and we got in here and we were able to capture on some of them 14, some of them 24 points on this run here. For those that didn't, hopefully they're learning, right? And picking up why they got out. I'm not picking on anyone particular here, but Let's see. So the only thing we have to adjust, and somehow I messed up my PD value area high yesterday. I don't know how. Dumpster, that was all intended for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the PDPOC. Okay, there's something going on here. Anyone got it? What's going on? Between POCs, what do you notice here?
A skinny belly.
Yeah, you got overlap with just about nothing at all.
Your
Like the
value
low meets
areas
the
are
high.
making lower lows and lower highs, right? So the value area shifted for a moment. And tomorrow, this is going to be crucial that we defend this level here. If we don't defend this level, you literally have 25 points that are going to happen instantly on an 80% rule. Okay. Does everybody understand that? So your POC was pretty high. The volume shifted down, came back here. We broke this value area. We got into the previous day from today. We got into this area here, right? We were holding it. So if we come back to this range here that you guys see between yesterday's value and today's, this is your bounce zone for tomorrow. Most likely we're going to bounce right there. If we do get a drop, then we're going to go there. So for overnight, if anyone's trading, this would be the zone that I'm looking at to get in on the long. And what's my first target?
The value area high.
Nope, it's the VPOC here. Is this a VPOC?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. I guarantee you can, if you drop here, that's 25 points from here to here. So that's most likely how it's going to play out tomorrow. If they get this run up here, from here to here, you get 25 points, you take one trade and you're done for the day. But we also have the rising wedge, so make sure you guys are following this guy. I would just keep that. I mean, you can draw whatever you want on the opposite side, but I would just watch for this line here. What would you guys short? Where would you guys short this?
Right below the
Retest
previous
the
day
30.
value area low.
Hello.
Or not P.
Yeah, 39.30.
Yeah, that's a really good short. If it goes below here and then retest, I think that's a pretty good short. You could play the 80% rule, which is 30 points. So you pretty much tomorrow is going to be, not saying, don't trade, but tomorrow I think it's going to be a 30 to 35 points range day. First of all, I mean, you have your profile type is what?
B or lowercase b?
No, it's definitely a D shape. I would
D.
say this almost perfect
D.
distribution, right?
shape.
So on a perfect distribution, do you ever see a run up or a rundown last minute like this? Go check. You'll see that it's rarely that you see it. Usually closes within the value area off that D shape. So here it's telling me, when you look at this, so you had, just follow the pattern of the, you have a P shape with a short rally, right? And then what is this here? I would say it's almost triple distribution, P shape on the top. And then, POC is much lower than a normal P shape, right? Usually on a P shape, you would expect to see it somewhere like here. This one is a little bit lower if you're to measure the top and bottom, right? And if you go to the left a little bit, you see these D shapes here. Usually the price will close around 50% or right close to that POC, right? It usually does not break out high like we did here. So when you're accumulating, usually stays very close to the magnet and close inside the value area. Here we popped, but I would say it's probably not as a strong of a pop here because the volume was descending here on these candles. And if you look, I mean, you have no bodies, right? And you have picked up in volume action here. And it's, you know, a bullish pin bar. And then we broke that bullish pin bar here, 39.33. I don't know how much volume I can trust here at the last moment of the day. But let's see if we break this balance. If we check this balance, this is a really go level just because it's gonna check this volume. And if it agrees, we're gonna get a bounce and go to VPOC. I don't think we're gonna go to VPOC here first immediately. I think first down, then go to VPOC. And if this can't hold, then we got a retest on the bottom. So your first play is trust this level that the longs are gonna go for it. And then the second one is you come here and then this one. So how do you know which one works? A lot of you guys are like, man, how the fuck do you know if this one's gonna work or this one? Well, guess what? Who does know?
Nobody, but they both
Nobody.
do work as long as you've planned them out correctly.
Ah, there you go. So if you plan your trades, and that's why you have a stop loss, it's okay to have a losing position. It's okay. So if you go here, let's say you go long here, and your target, let's say, is here, and your stop loss is, I would say, right below this wick and right inside this little gap on the volume profile. Well, this trade could net you almost 6-1. And if you don't feel comfortable, what could you do? Well, you can lower this, you know, to be taking somewhere around here because you have this peak as well. This is developing POC, not that it really matters at the moment, but you have a nice peak here where we sold off. Well, not sold off. It seems like we're gonna sell off, and they caught me here. Not here, I'm sorry, that was earlier in the day, 350. But here it seemed like they were gonna sold off. They broke this, you know, candle here, the doji, and then they reversed and pumped it here after hours. So now if they pump this here, this is a good trade. I mean, you could leave a runner to go all the way up. And then on the short side, if you're wrong, then the probabilities of the trade, remember, think about it as probabilities, not right or wrong. The probabilities were not on your side. And then here, you would play this, and you would probably put a stop loss. I personally would put it, I'm looking at this peak here. I would probably put it somewhere around here. It would be here because it's much less reward here. And even then, 3.7, right? So even if you increase this to somewhere around here, you're 3-1. And if you look at the stop, that's pretty good. You have almost 3 volume shelves here on the row size that will protect you a little bit. So either trade, you could set this one up to 3-1. Let's see, 3, whatever this is, which would line up almost with the high of the day, right? So if you guys look, this would be the high of the day, which is not a bad target. So you have this one or this one. And what do you do tomorrow? As a
Wait.
trader, what should you do?
Wait for it.
You just wait for it, guys. I promise. There's a probability you're going to get one of these. And if none of these work, well, for me, let's say we gap up tomorrow and then these are gone, right? The options. Well, then you got to come back to this level where you had a strong high, and this would be the next play, right? This is the extreme. If you get a run up for some reason, retest here, because I'm pretty sure Dumpster posted it. What's this considered here, Dumpster?
It's a strong high.
Very strong high. I mean, you came to it one candle and then you dropped from 39.70 to 38.92 from here. Right. So this is a fairly strong high here that, you know, we rejected off. So if this was, you know, the bounce today was here, did anyone take the fibs from the top to the bottom here? So if you do take the fibs, what does it tell you? What is this telling you right now?
Confluence.
Yeah, but is it telling you up or down? This fib right here. We are above the 50 and we are above 61.8.
No, up.
Yeah, most likely we're going to push up. So don't be surprised if we push back down to it and look at the confluence that I'm telling you at this level here. So this would be a nice level of 50%. You have PD value area high. You have the zone here that the imbalance happened on, right? So if you guys go on smaller time frames, it'll look better. So you see the imbalance here. Look at this right here.
Yeah.
Let me just highlight a difference. You see this? Hey, we're happy, we're happy, we're happy. Boom. And then, of course, I mean, I know it's 350 here that we pop, but we popped out of it. And then we accumulated again, right? And then look what happened. You popped again, and now you're over it and you're holding. So it has a high chance to continue unless, I mean, think about it. This is an order block here. This was a large order somebody executed towards the end. And I don't know what the MOC was or what it indicates.
Yeah,
But
the MOC was a surprise and it popped.
how much was it? Was it billions?
1.1 billion, and the pre one came in at like 100 million or something like that.
Okay,
But
so
you could see
somebody
it at
added some
49
orders.
that it popped. Yeah, you could see right where it popped. Like Macari killed it, and there's some other people playing too.
Yeah, so I would definitely watch this, right? I would, watch this imbalance. If we do come back to this level, let me drag it to the right. Do you need more? This level here is going to offer really, really good support, guys. And then last but not least, what's another way to check? Or at least the way we check. Well, let's check. Let's see it here. So the PDPOC, if they bring it back here, offers a really good chance that we're going to bounce. And if you guys look at it, the Sunday low, I started marking this as I was backtesting just a little bit for Confluence points, and the price respects it. And if you guys look at this gap here, do you guys know what the gray box was? This was our Sunday gap. If I can learn how to type. So this was our Sunday gap, and you can see, we came back here, we bounced, and we came here under it, and we struggled around here, and then we popped. It wouldn't be a bad idea if they actually came back to this POC, and from here, you could go long, and that's where, what would you do if you're short? What do you do at this level? You're covering, right? You're buying back the ES. Well, you're taking profits and you're covering. If you're short ES, you're taking profits, which means you're buying it back, right? And those people that were long, they're also going to long. So it makes this level 39.20 also high chance for a bounce. So you have, 39.30. If we break it, hey man, you just take your loss on this trade and move on. The next one, you short it here. If you get a retest, this is going to pull like crazy to get here. So you have 10 points here to drop. If you lost here, let's see how many points did we say you would lose? 39.31. You would lose 4 points. Here you would gain 10 points. So now you see why the risk management is very important. Between the two trades, losing and a winning trade, now you're winning. Does that make sense? Statistically, you will always win if you kind of hold on to those rules of winning 3-to-1 risk to reward. Let me just hide this guy. So this one is good here. So I'll be interested to see, how this level PDPOC, obviously that's a lot of volume was here. You guys see that we are stuck in balance. We popped right over it. And then you can also take a look at here because we balanced from this little balance. This is the level that they're targeting, 39.31, the 50%, the zone, the balance. I would think this is the first bounce that we're going to get. And then here, not much volume. I can't really tell here after hours, but not much is happening after hours. They used to have a balance here somewhere right here, but they're holding it still. They dropped to below of the trend line. I would think we're going to reject here now and probably make a low or come up to 39.40 here. Okay, so everybody clear on the plan for ES? Can you guys wait and execute on these trades? Is it doable? And stick to the plan of the risk reward?
Yes.
And if you got a better one, stick to it, but have a plan. This is the game. If you don't plan, you will definitely fail. You fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So stick to this and watch it, right? On NQ, I didn't actually pay attention much to NQ today, but our levels I think were spot on. Here goes NQ. So PD value area hit high again, gave you a really, really nice bounce, and we hit this level here and we rejected. So let's see, if we get into this area, there's a high chance that we're going to be visiting what? Anyone just looking at this chart here. Here, I'll remove all of it. If we're able to break out of this zone now that we're consolidating in, what do you guys think they would target next?
High.
Why?
Because there's a balance out there.
There
Before
was
they
a
dump it.
balance. There was a balance. Good. So here you had a balance. So what do we do with balance with volume profile? Well,
Make the fixed rate.
you grab this guy and let's see what it says. So watch this level tomorrow. As it comes up to this level, I would pay attention to this area here before. And I'm pretty certain there's a level here why we rejected. Yeah, there you go. It was a nice grab on the liquidity here. So we came right here. So if you wanted to go along, what is the level?
Breakout and
Top
reach.
over 11,384.
Yeah. If you guys go into your, let me just go here. I'll delete this. I didn't mean to do horizontal. If you do one of these lines and you just take a look at it and kind of zoom out, let me just hide this crap. Is this level fairly important?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Kind
would
of a
say it's fairly.
zone.
Yeah. So if you look here, you know, you
Yes,
had
sir.
a couple of taps here. I would say you had a cluster somewhere around here. You had a cluster pretty much in the zone here. And then here, if you guys look, it came very close. And right, it's needless to say that you don't necessarily have to say this is just one. Here you go. You can treat this as an SR level here. If you're able to pop over it and then regain it, that's where we will go long. All of the longs right now, I promised you they're chasing. Every single one. You're not really missing much yet. And I know people are like, man, we broke this balance. This is, you know, we're gonna go higher. Well, I don't know. Did anyone check volume? See how this looks?
Going down.
What do you notice?
It's coming lower.
There's a bearish volume anomaly, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I wouldn't just trust it yet. Something's not, for me, something's not adding up in terms of volume. There's a bearish volume anomaly. That means the volume bars are going down, but the price is going up. So for all the folks that are not familiar with that, you can find this pattern or volume studying, right? On any time frame, right? It happens pretty much everywhere. And you just have to pay attention to the volume anomalies, for instance, right here. So here's this one. So here you're kind of going up, right? And then you have an order that's coming in. They pop that over. And then what do you notice here? Where do we come back for a revisit before we run up? So just think about logically. Hey, we're pushing this higher up on less volume. And you notice the volume here. That means there's a volume imbalance somewhere. Does that make sense? If you're going up and the orders are not being processed properly, there's a volume imbalance that needs to be revisited. Well, what do you think they will do? They will eventually come back and revisit that area. And if we go here and we just look at this, right? I'm just gonna go, you know, pretend for a moment, like go up here and look where they come back. They come back right into the area to fill that. So if you guys think about this, they came back. Let's see. if this is the area where they popped from, right? Look where they're coming back to it. They came back right to this order and they filled it. And then they're like, okay, well, we fulfilled that order. Let's go higher now. And then you can imagine at some point, this buy side liquidity is going to be trapped, and they trapped a little bit. They got these people out on the calls. Then they popped a little bit higher, and then they got them out again. So it doesn't seem like they know yet what they want to do, but I'm pretty sure we're going to go to the top liquidity again that we were rejecting last time on the peak. So if you guys look, I'm pretty certain that this is the next level that we just had here. I think it was 84. So somewhere around here, probably we're going, but I'll be cautious, right? And needless to say, they can pump it over it just like they did here on, I think this was one of the CPIs where they popped over it, but then take a look at here. They popped it over, right? So if you look here, they popped that over. And then, right, you see this peak here. So they popped it and then they dumped it from here. And if you look here, the volume looked actually pretty good. But what's wrong with this candle?
It's weaky.
Stopping
It's a
volume.
high sell pressure.
High sell pressure,
Are
but
the
the
range-
body of the candle is telling you something.
Bearish.
Reversal.
Always remember, whenever you see a candle, this is the first thing I check. What did it take to create that body here? So for me, it's telling me, hey, you took a lot of effort, but your result was small. What are you telling me? So first, you guys went up, right? You guys pushed the price up. That means the body of the candle was here sometimes. But then
The
something
buyers-
came and did not agree with you finding the value above this box. And remember,
Yeah.
I'm on a daily time frame. It's not something little to break here. So they broke it and then they popped it under, right?
Sellers pushed it all the way down.
Yep. So the aggressiveness was there. So now if you guys look here, it looks similar here. Slightly different, but similar. They popped it here compared to here, right? But the next candle actually went higher, but not higher than this high. So we're still not breaking this candle. I'm still on the daily. So this is, second day after, and we're still not breaking. We're not taking these sellers out. So think of this little area as aggressive sellers right here. From here to here, if these are aggressive sellers, are they gone yet?
No.
Oh, because if they were gone, we would be slicing through this level, and most likely we would break 11,384. So once you break that level, then you have a nice little, tiny little space of hope, like right here, that the bears might do something at these levels right here. This little box that I'm highlighting. This is the last chance for the bears to control before. Now think value, right? So if you guys think about the PowerPoint, let me just bring up the first slide. Okay, if we break the balance, right, you enter in balance and then you look for what?
Acceptance.
And look
Next
for
level.
acceptance, right? We
Next
want to
area.
get in. They're trying to get inside this area to see if they can go to the top of here. So the acceptance area would be somewhere around here for us to truly, truly go long 11.43. If you want to go in, that's the safest level to go long. Right here, you get in on 11.384. Well, think about it. You're playing 11.384 to 11.43. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's a little bit more riskier, especially if I'm adding a little bit larger position or swing positions. I'll be cautious. Right? It's not something I'm not really willing to play for this. I'd rather play for this big square. There's much more value for me in here because I know it's wide range. There's going to be a lot of buyers and sellers participating in here. And, I wouldn't mind being one of them, getting back in here and driving it all the way up. That's quite a bit of range. So once you start thinking about these things and, some of these slides, when you truly understand them, they'll speak to you back. Especially, you have to understand the theory, right? The market auction theory and finding the value. And stocks will constantly do this, and they do it. I mean, I'll go here on smaller time frames and delete it all, and I'll show you that they do it all the time. Here's pre-market. What did they do? They popped out of the value, and what do you think they do right afterwards? They brought it back to see if it works.
That's our open drive right there.
No, was this? Oh, it was, yeah. So this was the open drive. So there's your 930 pop. You immediately came back, and I told you guys, I like to look for accumulation right before open, whether it's up or down, right? If they sold off or going up, these are really, really good setups, guys, for long or short. So let me, okay, I grabbed too much. So if you look here, they came back. I mean, they didn't dip it as low, 1108. They came back, what is this, 1121? So you probably, if you played strictly the level to a penny, you probably would have missed it by 5 points. But usually when I see, if you go back on the candles, if you look at smaller time frames, you could find how relevant and how aggressive the buyers become at a certain level. So if you pay attention here at 1044, when we arrived here, you see a big bounce drop. And then as soon as this candle broke here, I would consider this a go ahead level. You can go on it, and then we popped, and then we came back again, to fill that volume gap fill. But this happens, the balances happen literally on all time frames, guys. You can find any stock you like, and I promise you will find it. Here's Tesla, there's multiple on it. And if you held those 115s, they went in the money, and I sold them for, I think it was 64% or 44, I don't know, or 46. Slightly dyslexic, so it was, I think it was 3.7, and I don't know what the entry was. So this was a typical here. It was a nice range here, pretty wide balance range. There's buyers and sellers. They're willing to play, and they popped it. And here goes this. You go here, you extend it. And look at this. They did not reject it here. So a first, would be, hey, let's short it. You would have been stopped out here, and that's okay, because that's why you trade. Not every trade you have is going to go in your favor, because that's the mentality that you guys lose. Man, I took a trade and I'm down. No, just get out, close it. It doesn't work in your favor, move on. So here, if you had a stop loss, right, somewhere above here or here, you would have been stopped out, and then you're watching to see if this top range here, I would in this case circle this here, if this top range here is going to reject, and that'll be around 119.77. So that's something that I would watch for on Tesla on, for intraday levels to see if it's going to short. Okay. But there's a lot of examples you guys can find. I mean, here's in the video, this is the perfect one here. You had a nice accumulation here. This is from almost all day accumulated. So it popped, came back right to it, and then it went up like what, almost $2. So not a huge range, but it gave you a little bit. See, cat's still going. BA. I'm watching this one. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to it. So in the retail world, what do you have?
Bull flag.
Oh man, you have something that they love you. They love to sell this.
The bull flag.
Oh, they're
Or
gonna
a
they're gonna
falling
have a
wedge.
bull flag, and then you have, as you're approaching this, volume's going down. So what they might do, and I'm not kidding, they will do this. They will send this higher to 220. And people playing the bull flag, yes, this becomes a magnet. And people that are smart, they will close this here. But a better opportunity is to actually look for a short rather than long. And I'm not saying look for a short here. I'm saying once we break here, this is your short entry somewhere around here. And you see how well, they've been hitting these levels and coming very close to it. And look at these distributions that we have. If I go on weekly, you'll see it. Well, I can almost grab this whole thing here. So here goes a distribution, right? So you have this, they drop it, and they came back. I mean, I just showed you on the daily. Do you guys think they're buying here? No, it doesn't look like they're buying here. Doesn't look like on volume. So there's one big volume candle here. They popped it from here 206 to 216. And then instantly, look at this volume here. The candle, I mean, bearish engulfing candle. And then another candle here with much bigger volume. And now bearish volume anomaly. So this is pretty ready to short. I would just wait for them to give them a false break, but I would definitely keep an eye on this. And another one I'm watching is Clorox here. I mean, it's been stuck in here. I mean, look at this. So I would definitely watch this if I was you guys. This has a potential for a breakdown or, break up here. So let's see if we break this level 151, it looks pretty promising, but there was a really big seller here. So if they do decide to come back to this area here, let's see, I would expect somewhere around 182. Yeah, somewhere around here, 182. If they do decide to run here, this would be a probably really, really good short. So I'd watch this. I looked at shop chart and I just can't believe. I mean, I've drew this chart. I don't know how long ago I drew it, and it's still in the range. I mean, it is just accumulating. Now look at this. And what does it look like for retail?
Inverse head and shoulders.
Yeah, typical inverse head and shoulders, right? So they're giving you a look. So I would say it's something like this. So they're giving you this pip, 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 pip. So now if you break it, you have a chance to run here, which is not bad. If you do break this value area high here, 39.5, you have a chance to go to 50, which is not bad. You can make some money here. I would probably look to close some of the longs if I was to enter here on the long side. It's just that I do not like entering anywhere in between here on the volume profile as we are now. And there's a little, if you guys look here, it seems like there's a little shift potentially coming on a POC so far, not far. I mean, it has a peak here, and a valley here. So not something I would look to take here, maybe break, retest, then go long. I would look for that. Amazon hasn't really, I mean, it moved off of that level 81.3 that we had. And what it bounced almost, 13, 14%, 12%. So not bad. I mean, good bounce. And now we're going to be entering some heavy resistance here on it. I would say it's somewhere around here if I was to guess. No, it's extending. So what is this? About 90.55. You have a chance to go reject there. So let's see what they do. If we break that out, then we're going to be looking for new value area. And I would look to see the whole zone from here to here to see what we were working with. So we got inside the value area. So most likely it would go to 94. If we want to test the extreme, probably go to even 100 here, 100.6. So let's see what they decide to do. Okay, Qs. So it seems like we popped here much higher over this level, which was our go ahead level. Our short entry is still sitting at 282. So we have another $10 to go. So there's a chance they can make this. I think they would need what, like 4%? 3.5% to get it all the way to the top. I think that's doable for Qs if they decide to do that.
Shorty, when you're done with everything, would you please let me see ES again?
Yep, and I'll post this link here. Where's it?
Thank you.
Yep, so here's this. Did we reject? Yep, there it goes. I'm expecting us to go up to. And we're making a lower high, so let's see if we
Okay,
make this lower
right.
low here, it's gonna be fun. So this is the level we gotta break now.
Just want to make sure that I had it right. Yeah, I marked it right.
All right, what questions you guys got?
Already one question I have on the type of profile. I was thinking about it today.
Mhm.
You mentioned a couple of times in past watch list as well. They'd always look for what type of day it is. But normally that day is starting from say 6 p.m. Eastern time to next day. Till what at what time you can say we can say yes, this is now in a particular type of profile. For example, a capital a P or a capital
Well, think
B or a
about it,
small case
right? I
P.
mean, majority of the volume happens what time?
After market open for like in first
Probably
hour or two,
1.5
regular
hours max, right?
regular trading hours. Yeah.
Yep. So within 2 hours, you get a really influx of volume, right? So I would say by 12:30 to 1 o'clock, your profile is pretty much set. And then they could create, whether it's a double distribution, it can shift from, let's say, upper P, lowercase p to a lowercase b. It could shift, but those shifts usually are the drastic moves in the market where it goes, reverse from top to the bottom, or bottom to the top, where you're like, holy crap, like what just happened? And as you know, those type of days in the market are not very common. So usually by 1 o'clock, you know what type of profile you have. And not that I care about the level on the intraday level, just because they're not set. So it's not something I rely on, but to define the day, I do care about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Because it tells us a lot about the trade, right? What we got. So, and just make sure you guys shift this, because this thing just, I believe, ended today. Should be starting a new one, right?
I think there is one more day tomorrow.
So what is this? This is January 2nd to the 10th. No, it should be close of, I guess today at midnight, it will start a new one. Because this one is,
Yeah, today's the last day since technically it's already started a new day today.
yeah,
This day is included in the 7 day, and then tomorrow will be new.
yeah. So I'll mark this level here. We shifted this up. The only thing I left this one here just because of the bounce, and you can call it support. But this is our current range here, 39.20, and I'm pretty sure the PD value area low also shifted. No, they did not shift it. POC stayed.
Yeah, POC and 7 day value area lows have pretty much stayed the same. Some of the 7 day value area lows have shifted downwards, but otherwise not much.
I mean, this would be a hell of a range to buy here. This would be a really, really good zone to buy right here. And I say intraday, not news, right? This would be a pretty good zone here. So I'll definitely watch this. Okay. So is everybody clear on the plan? Like what we were doing?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. What other questions you guys got?
Can you look at Apple, Shorty?
What in the world? Oh, it is getting compressed up. Interesting. I'm pretty sure that, you know, if you're able to get over this, I would say this little green cloud here, which would be 132, you have a chance to go to 136.24. Really, really high chance. So if anyone's willing to trade Apple, I would watch this level with everything I got here. Go over 132, retest, and you have a pretty good chance to pop. If tomorrow you're watching this level, what is this telling you here? Anyone? These last two POCs, who can summarize it? It played almost perfectly. This too can be your homework forever. I see one entry, two entries, three entries, and then we haven't gotten a fourth one yet. Where all you guys see entries in between these two boxes? Who got them? Be detailed in these two. Where do you guys see entries? And what's it telling you?
I see rejection off the previous week POC.
All right, so if you guys remember, towards the end of the slides here, I give you guys how you can play these value areas. It almost should be registered in your head how you can play these scenarios, right? So here's your value area high, acceptance. This is your spring and value area low, regain. This is your peak above the value area high and come back inside. So for instance, right? You guys see anything, you come back inside the value area high and you come back where? Is that one?
Jordan,
Yes.
instead of 7 days, you have 7 week in your PVP.
Oh, did I? Oh, crap. Well, let me go back to set for this one for a moment, because it's actually a really good example of everything we. So here's your first one. Could you have gone long here?
Yes.
You don't have
You-
a retest. It depends on
Yes,
the
correct.
candle.
You don't have a retest, so it's not the most ideal. You can go, but this is not the A+ setup right here. If you're able to break the previous support or previous high, like break of structure here and hold above it, then this one becomes fairly important. But you never broke the, you know, the structure here, so this one also becomes risky. A lot of people say, yes, I will go long here, but the only way to go long, the ideal long, is this. If we broke below it, then come back in here, then you go long.
Okay.
So this is showing you strength. We broke above it. Now this we're testing. Remember, resistance became support and we go ahead. So now think about this. So here's another scenario. You accumulated here for a moment and you pay attention to that. And don't extend this, right? We'll change this so you guys can see it. Did we accumulate here?
Yes.
And then what do you see? We're right at the POC and we drop and we push back. Isn't this the short right here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a perfect short. And look here. We came back and I think Apple had some bad news or something, right? So they shorted it back here again. And then you come back here and this is why you have a stop loss. What did they do here? They set up a trap, right? They looked like long, they trapped the longs, they trapped the shorts, and then they went up. So now you popped over this level and this level needs to hold. This level here that I highlighted. So the 130.10, if we able to come back tomorrow to it on a retest, this is a good level for people to go long off of. So if you grab this, right, I'm only on 3 minutes, 5 minutes, right? But if you grab this here, there's a couple of good levels you could get a nice buy here. So if you look here, this range here becomes your buy zone on any pullbacks potentially. So this drops tomorrow. I mean, this is a really explosion towards the end. I mean, this is crazy. If they, And I'm pretty sure they're gonna push this back tomorrow to like 130, 130.2. If they push that back, great. What happens if they're below this level?
You wait for a retest and go short.
And you have this, then you got $1. I mean, they're not giving you much, but there's a lot of potential for Apple here. So, you know, if you guys go on higher time frames, what does this look like?
Structure.
It's an important structure, right? So if you guys think about it, this is your SR, right? This is your support, support. Well, I meant to highlight that one. This is your support. You broke the support and now you're looking for resistance.
Persistence.
And I know technicals news, what you guys are hearing might not work in your favor, right? Sometimes you just have to ignore the noise and do what your technicals are telling you to do. If you guys recall, what did I tell you guys at Tesla yesterday? I said on the call, I said, I just have to do it. Right or wrong, I just had to short this. I mean, if you guys remember, I was down on this trade for a while. I think I shorted from this right here. Let me make sure.
You did the same on ES. You said it's you got to the level where it said I got to short it.
Yeah, so this was just a shorting level, and you know, whether it's right or wrong for me, I had to short it. It was an entry I had to get in, and I got in. And I think catching rockets you're on as well. And you mentioned the same level as mine. I think it was 124.10 or 124 something.
Yeah.
And we got in, and today it paid. I swung it and it paid today, right? And I also got like longer term puts on Tesla. And they also were up, but I didn't take them just because I have time. And, you know, unless it breaks this level here, 124.5, 125, I will not get out. And even though our friend Kathy keeps buying them, but yeah. But sometimes you just got to trust your levels. Like what you're seeing is important. And that's why you guys are learning this. Otherwise, I mean, you can just trade like a knucklehead and just keep doing what everybody else is doing. Right. But if you're going to learn and trust, you got to trust yourself. Nobody else knows more than you. And the best thing you're going to do if you trust yourself, you're going to avoid those random trades that are not planned. Once you have a planned trade and you look at it, I promise it makes your trading less stressful. You know where to get in, you know where to get out, you know what you saw, and then you trust it. And if it goes against you, it's much easier to get out than when you don't know why you get in, you don't know your plan, then I call it, you turn to God. You say, oh, God, help me here, I hope. And then you go on Twitter, news, and you look for everything that's in your favor and you start ignoring the actual facts that are telling you the trade's not working out. You play the opposite to justify staying in a trade. And then once the trade's down 80%, you're like, man, what's 20% left? And I lost 80%. And then what happens to the contract? It goes to zero. How many of you guys suffered something like that?
I have.
I would say a lot of you guys did. I was a victim of it too. But the sooner you realize that you plan to trade, it becomes much important. Do you guys think top line restaurants in the world that randomly just decide you order a menu item and they randomly surprise you with something totally different? You order a steak and they bring you like, I don't know,
Chicken.
something totally opposite, and you're like, what the hell is this? I'm not gonna pay. It's similar to trading, guys. You have to plan what you're gonna eat, man. You plan the trade, you execute it, and you stick with the plan you had. If you're oversizing, you're not going to stick to the plan. So try it on a smaller smaller scale, put one contract, minimal money, and trade that and see if it works. Hey man, this is my target. I'm not getting out till the target. Worst case, I'll move my stop loss halfway. And you can use fibs, right? I mean, you can figure out, right? If you got in here and you have this whole upfront, you can see, right? Where's a potential for a bounce, right? So if I know they're going to bounce at 39.36, I'll put a trailing stop right below it. And if they get me, they get me, right? So that's how I would usually put like 50, basis points or 50 points below that one target, that potential bounce, just so they don't stop me out every time. So you could use the fibs. You have the volume profile, you have the shelves, you have the concentration of volume, you have the volume anomalies, you know about the IBH, the IPL. I mean, you gotta formulate with clear head what is going on in the market. What are they doing in the market? And sometimes you guys see me do a lot. And some people message me, it's like, dude, why do you delete the chart so much? Well, I delete them because I can just redraw it back. And for me, it's good practice that I see from multiple views, different approaches, what's going on in the market, right? So sometimes I will do this. Come on. I will do this, and I will start the day from Sunday, right? So this is our Monday. Here's our Sunday. So here's our. This is Friday. This is not an ETH. It is. So here's our Sunday open, and you see it, right? So this is our range so far. For 2 days, this is our range. And it's good to notice these things and to pay attention to it. So this is our range for 2 days. And then you can also figure out what was the range for previous days, right? So if you go here, let's see, this is Friday. I would say this is the high here. Somewhere around here was the previous range. And we're just fighting now to stay in that range. You guys see it? So this was my Friday, Monday range all the way to, let's see. So this is another one here. So let me make sure I'm marking these days. I get lost. And then there's another range here. You guys see it from here to this Friday here. So we're still in the range for 2 weeks. This was the range here. Now we're popping to see if we can hold this, and then this will tell us here how we react to it. It was a strong high here and we rejected it. So there's a high chance we would, trigger to go again to it if we make a new low here or break this level, right where we bounced today. If you guys take a look, from here to here, we had a really, really strong bounce right here at the level of 50%. So once we lose that 50%, then we get a little bit interesting on the targets, right? Then there's a high chance you're going to be testing this low here that you really never tested again. So if you guys take a look here, you never really came back to this POC here at 38.10. So it would be good, if we came back, and I'm pretty sure we might have a POC there or a VPOC. I'm not sure if it's been filled. So that's a P shape. That's a really nice clean P shape from there. Yeah, so we do have some VPOCs above. And most likely that's what they want to tap, 40.77. I think there's one higher than that too. Maybe not. I thought there was one at 4,200. But so far the bulls look actually pretty healthy here. As long as they hold this 3,900, they're pretty good. And if you guys think about it, we consolidated, we popped, and what did we do today? We came back and we bounced here. It's smart.
Isn't that bottom part you have there pre-market? That where it dipped down? Where it dipped down? Yeah,
this
isn't
one
that
here?
pre-market? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I think before the market opened, I think we were above that, weren't we?
Yeah, we popped right above it. What did I do? So this is Tuesday. So this is at 10:40. This was pre-market here. You're here, you popped, and then you came back right to it. So this was your accumulation that we talked about from earlier, if you remember. Well, there's that level. Something seems off. There it goes. Okay. No, why it keeps changing to 200. Yeah, but that was the level, yeah. Netflix, let's see if we're close to the short. Oh, we're very close to the short. This is an interesting level here that we're coming up.
Gap filled.
Yeah, we completed the gap fill. We're testing this again. There was a really strong rejection here off of it. Unless we can go above this, we have a liquidity here above. I would say close above 330 here, and then you have a chance to be testing the top of this range here, which should be 400 on Netflix. That's long-term outlook on it, DM. But we are coming very close to a short level. I wouldn't mind taking a stab. Let me just look at the daily real quick. It's a pretty powerful daily candle, though. Really engulfing, bullish engulfing candle. But we're coming right to this supply here. We popped right over it. So, man, I would say there's a high chance we go for this value area high. And if we break that, then this channel is just going to continue up, put till potentially 400. And that will be the short. Yes. I looked at it today. I almost bought shares. So I was looking at it. It was much cheaper. Yeah, it was. Wow, I popped a lot. Yeah, I really wanted to. It was like 13 something here. And I was. What time was I looking at it? It was here that I was looking at it. Man, that would have been nice. Almost. Yeah, almost $1 a share. That would have been nice. Yeah, I didn't get it. But that was the entry. I don't know if I would add right here. I would wait. Yeah, there's a bearish volume anomaly here. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a better entry on this. I'm gonna wait on this to see if I can get it somewhere lower end of this. I'm assuming, Car, you already sold the shares you had, if you recall. Okay. All right, guys. Well, if you don't have anything else, good night, and hopefully you guys be patient tomorrow. Tomorrow might be the potato eating day, right? They gotta make money before the move. So if they don't know what's gonna happen in the market, the way they do it is they collect the premium the day prior and 2 days prior. So tomorrow, I would just be very patient, especially with the setups that we identified to see. They give you a trending date, then you had that Q4 value area high, pop that over, and go long. Otherwise, look for the short and long opportunity we identified, and that's the only two things I'm going to be watching tomorrow. Okay. Focus on
Okay, thank you, Shorty.
guys. Thank you. See you
Good
guys.
night, buddy.
Good night.